Welcome to the Network Build Grow podcast, the show where business owners, entrepreneurs, and professionals share their stories, lessons learned, and powerful strategies for building relationships and growing their circle of influence. With Melissa Taylor, your host, each week we'll bring you actionable insights to help you build a better network and a better business. Let's dive in.
On the Network Build Grow podcast, welcome Rita Garnto, dear friend, and known you for quite a few years. So glad to have you.
Yeah, I'm really happy to be here.
Absolutely. So tell us first, before we kind of jump into some good networking things, tell us a little bit about what you do, but more importantly, why.
Well, what I do is I get to teach busy, stressed out people simple techniques to stop the crazies before the stress takes over. And my why really is I didn't know, but it started back in my teenage years when I
Mhm.
actually did not handle stress very well. And so I started journaling and exercised a lot. And these now research shows how really good they are for self care. And so just
Mhm.
over the years, I've had to deal with my stress. And I lost my mom. I lost her 15 years ago, or we did, to a massive heart attack. And the years surrounding before my mom passed were very, very stressful in our family. And I really think that stress overload was such a significant part in her heart attack. And so she's part of my platform too. She's part of the reason why that I'm
Mhm.
here. And my mental health. So
Yeah, there's a lot there to unpack, and I would say that you have not chosen the less stressful career path. I know that you were a respiratory therapist. You spent a lot of time in Saudi Arabia doing that. I imagine there was some stress there.
well, and then
You know,
The Gulf War broke out while I was there. Imagine that,
yes,
imagine that.
it's kind of an issue. And then you came back to the Charlotte area. You were on the trauma flight team, so I'm sure that had its own level and layers of stress on it. And then you decided to adopt two children, sisters. They were sisters when you adopted, well, the Star sisters, but you adopted children. So a lot.
A
Like,
lot.
let's just layer it on, right?
A lot. Yeah, you can't make this stuff up. I don't remember putting a request into this as, part of my lifeline. Like, could I please have?
Can I
Uh,
please have all this stress?
really, the funny thing is, I just in the past did not. I just have not dealt well with stress, and I've suffered some health issues, mental health issues, and it's really what I teach and what I share is all about my survival
Mhm,
tactics and what I'm still using every day. If my
mhm.
stress level goes up, because life just stress is going to keep on happening. It's
Oh,
figuring
yeah.
out how to deal with it. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's been interesting. It's been an interesting journey, I have to say.
Now, you wrote a book a few years ago.
Mhm.
I don't remember the year it came out, but it's called Simple Self Care. And tell me, why do you put the word simple in there?
Well, self care to me is awesome. But when I hear the word self care, I think of traditional self care, the kind of self care you need to change your shoes or your clothes. You have to drive somewhere, you have to pay money, and you have to block out a period of time on your calendar. So, we're
Mhm,
looking at mani pedis, massages, workouts at the gym, exercise classes, all those things. And those are awesome. But when we get tired, stressed, exhausted, what's the first thing we typically will drop from our schedule is
mhm,
this traditional self care.
mhm,
So when I became a new mom with two toddlers, I couldn't go to the gym anymore. So I had to start finding things I could slide into my day. So then I ended up calling it simple self care, meaning that it is simple, it's not complex, and can slide into your day at a moment's notice.
mhm. So while the kids are sleeping, or while you're brushing your teeth, or while you're cooking dinner,
Or
or
while
just
they're yelling
sometimes
at me or throwing
while
a tantrum. Yes, all yeah, those times.
all those times. Now, you recently actually got a federal trade. Tell me about that. Federal trademark, federal trade,
It's a
copyright. What was it?
copyright. It's a
Federal
federal
copyright.
copyright,
Okay. Mhm.
and it is of the original master class that I did on the concept around simple self care. So that's federally copyrighted. I think it's about 50 some pages.
Well, congratulations. I know those are hard to come by and hard to get. So
I appreciate
congratulations on
that.
that. Well, let's switch gears a little bit and tell me, you've been an entrepreneur for a while because I know that after the trauma flight team, you actually owned a massage therapy practice for a while, and now you are a speaker and a facilitator for workshops around this concept of simple self care. So you've been an entrepreneur for years. But tell me, looking back, what is a key lesson that you would like those people getting started or in the first 5 years of their entrepreneurial journey or their small business journey? What's something that you'd love for them to know?
Be patient, have faith, and surround yourself with people that will support you and will walk with you during the journey because it is not an easy one at all.
Mm.
And I think probably that's the hardest thing we think when we become entrepreneurs. Oh, I get to do what I love, and oh, it's going to be awesome. I get to set my own hours. Well, those hours, what do they say? It's not 9 to 5; it's 5 to 9. So, you it's a really huge learning curve. So patience, and find good mentors like yourself.
Oh, well,
I
thank
couldn't have
you.
done this without you, honestly.
Oh, well, that's very
Because you've been
sweet.
so supportive. So I think that's probably the biggest thing. Be patient.
Yeah, be patient and be patient to find the right people to surround you with. Don't just, hunt and pick and grab. Make sure you're finding the right community to build around you. And that's where networking comes in.
Absolutely.
Right. So you and I met years ago at a networking group here in town, and it was such a blessing to meet you. And we got together, I think, at a Panera Bread and talked. And then we didn't see each other for 6 or 8 months.
Right.
And then we started running into each other again, and our circles collided. And it was a wonderful thing. So when you look at networking to find those people that you're talking about, those people that can surround you, those people that can support you, because that's partly what networking is about as well, as finding referral partners and, clients. When you go out and when you were going out to network and find that community, what were some of the things you were looking for? Or did you even know what you were looking for, and how did that come about?
I think I've always my strengths are in relationships, and
Mhm.
so I've always looked to connect with people for people to get it, that I get them, they get me. It took me a long time to realize that not everybody deserves to hear my story,
Oh.
and I'm not going to connect with everybody. Everybody's not going to like me, just like I'm not going to like everybody. So
Mhm.
now it's more fine tuned when I go to networking. If I tell, I say, we exchange, information, and they sort of lean in when they hear stress management and self care. That's a clue that they kind of get it. And then there's that energetic, without sounding woo woo, because I'm a real science nerd. There's that connection that you resonate or you don't. So that's what I
Mhm.
really look for now is just the people that get it and
Yeah,
you
the people that
respond.
get it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that you need to surround yourself, like you said, with mentors or people that understand. Because let's face it, if you've got a spouse or parents or brothers and sisters that are in corporate America, don't work for themselves, they flat out just don't get it.
Yeah.
And so you need people that are in that same boat with you, play in the same sandbox, no matter what their industry is. They have some of those same challenges, some of those same stressors that we
Absolutely.
have as entrepreneurs, and it's good. Okay. So let's get into a little bit of your best practices for networking, because I always say networking is not an event, it's a lifestyle. And so, how do you approach this lifestyle of networking?
Well, I'm going to tell you how I used to approach it. I used to think that I needed to go to a networking event and get as many business cards as I could, and then come home and follow up maybe with one or two, and the rest would go into a shoebox or into the drawer. So that really didn't get me very far.
No.
So now what I go to and my focus is to decide three quality um, connections.
Mhm.
Recently, I went to a conference on Monday. You were there as well, and
I
I
was.
made four fabulous connections. And now I'm keeping up with those four rather than the whole room.
Right.
So it's really about quality, not quantity, because if it's quantity, it's just going to get lost in your shoebox.
Yeah. How do you keep track of them? So you met 4 women. This was a women's conference we were at. You met 4 women. You came back, you connected with them on LinkedIn or whatever, sent them an email, initial connection. Now what? How do you track that? How do you keep track of making sure you stay in connection with them?
Well, it's funny you should ask. So I use the neteffects.io.
Oh, a little shameless plug there.
Yeah.
I forgot. Actually, I had
Yes,
forgotten you used
but
that.
do. No, so it's I was one of Roger's beta testers, and
Mhm.
so I really like it because I put the information in there, and then even when I use my Gmail, it transfers over. So then it
Mhm.
sends me reminders, and I can click in there, and my dashboard is like, I get an email reminder, Rita, you've missed 26 follow ups, but you've done 5, right?
Wow.
So it's a constant kind of little kick in the hiney. I'm not perfect.
Right.
We'll do the best we can. So,
Yeah.
yeah, so I've sent them all emails, put all their information in there,
Mhm.
then set myself a reminder, connect on LinkedIn
Mhm.
and we'll continue to, engage that way. But I really like the net effect IO.
That's good. And even if people don't use that, it's a system, right? It's a matter of finding a system that works, that keeps you in contact. If you network for your business, you already know follow up is everything when it comes to growing relationships and driving success. But here's the thing, most of us want to follow up well. We just get stuck. Staying consistent, keeping it personal, making it stand out, it's hard. That's why I use NetEffect.io. It makes follow up simple, cuts through all the noise, and helps me stay on top of every relationship without dropping the ball. I never miss a follow up, and honestly, my network wouldn't be the same without it. So check it out, neteffect.io. And right now, you can use promo code NBG50 for 50% off of your first month. Neteffect.io, your secret weapon to unforgettable follow up. What is your cadence? So, like, you meet somebody, you probably connect with them within the first 36, 48 hours. What's the next touch? Do you like a week, 2 weeks? Like, kind of how much time do you let go between that you try to have your system remind you to do something?
I think that it varies. So
Okay.
there's the conference in July and there's still people I need to contact, but I'm not gonna give up. It's like, you know what, I can still reach out even if I'm a month late.
Hmm.
So it just depends, I think.
What kind of connection they were?
If they've answered back right away or if they haven't
Yeah.
answered back, um, I'll check in like a week later and
Hmm.
just checking in, I know you're not supposed to use that, but we'll find something to, yeah,
Yeah.
about a
Something,
week.
something from your conversation that you can circle back with and say, hello, I hate that too. Circle back. I don't know why I just said that. But that's, yeah. So we're saying all the buzzwords that neither one of us like. So that's kind of fun.
And I'm like, Hope just said not to use them.
That's so great. All right. So, when do you give up? Like, if you've tried reaching out to somebody 3 or 4 times, not a lot of response, when do you give up or do you? Do you just
Oh
what
my
happens?
gosh, Melissa, that is a big challenge because I'm dealing with that, was dealing with the current situation. And you shared with the networking group and all of us that people that I didn't hear from in 6 months, but I keep touching, whether it's a newsletter or whatever, that finally after 2 years they've reached out. I now have a new client, so I have
Mhm,
that in the back of my head. I used to give up very easily
mhm,
because my personality is sort of like, make up your mind, you're going to use me, so let's go, rather than being patient, like I said earlier,
mhm,
and nurturing. So
mhm.
I'm still really working on that. So this
Yeah,
company I'm currently working with, I am being pleasantly, hopefully, persistently persistent. So
persistently patient. Yes.
I'm trying. I'm really trying, and to be creative how I reach out to them. So
Yeah, so let's talk about that. What are some creative things that you do to continue to nurture those relationships? Let's speak specifically of prospects. Now we know networking is not all about prospecting. It shouldn't be, but let's just hone in on those people that you've identified that could be someone who could hire you to come in to do a workshop or a speaking engagement, since that's your primary thing that you do. What
So
are some creative things that you do?
I will send a handwritten note with,
Hmm.
I have a postcard, an information postcard on one side. There's the three categories of simple self-care, and there's three examples of each.
Hmm.
So, and it's small enough you could fit into your backpack if you're, guy, woman, your purse, whatever. So I'll send that out and reach out. I've sent copies of my book,
Hmm.
um, emails, LinkedIn, send articles, link to
Yeah,
articles. Hey, you might be interested in this. Oh, I just
right.
found this.
Yeah. One of the things I know that you did a couple of weeks ago is you popped by one of the places. You just stopped in to the office.
Yeah, I did that yesterday too.
Oh, look at you. Little Miss Creative there. Wonderful. Yeah, and that's good because it just shows that you care. It shows that you are not just there for the transaction, but you actually, like you said, you send them something that helps them with some simple self-care. Hey, here's some tips, kind of a thing. All right, let's do some fun little rapid fire answers. Okay. So first thing that pops into your mind, this will be about
Well, that could
either
be
self-care or networking. We're going to mix it up for you a little
okay.
bit today. All right. So the first thing I want to ask you is, what is a core driving factor for you in your business?
It's my purpose to serve.
Yeah.
It's to help others, to make a difference. And when I started specifically the self-care stress management, Neil and I had a long conversation. We still talk about it, that the reason I'm doing this is to help people and make a difference.
Yeah. So that's a driving factor. I love that. So tell me, what is your best piece of advice for people that are getting started in the networking scene?
Yes.
Besides be patient.
Show up. Like, show up and be present. And networking is awkward. I'm my extroverted side that you wouldn't think I would feel that it's uncomfortable. But I've just learned to say hi, walk up to someone, say hi, I'm Rita. And they tell me their name, and I know you don't like this phrase, but I'm like, well, what do you do? Right. So that starts the conversation.
Yeah.
So it's just starting conversations. And then, like I said, make sure you get the quality connects. You don't have to connect with everybody in the room. Get the
Mhm.
cards and information from people that you had a kind of like a
Actual
connection
conversation with?
conversation with, and you exchange information other than what you do. So yeah,
Mhm.
that makes a difference.
Do you try to do a one-on-one? I know that's kind of a big thing with a lot of people. They try to do a one-on-one with everyone they meet. Or do you have kind of certain criteria that you look for before you'll do a one-on-one?
It's funny that you should say that because I'm in that situation right now. Someone's reached out, and it's I'm learning from you. I don't have time. Like, I don't, as I'm getting busier, and energy wise too, I don't have time. So I'm thinking of inviting this person to one of our huddles, one of our next, meetings. So
Mhm.
doing a group thing, inviting, having a larger contact connection with more people than just me. So I think that's more valuable.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite ways to do it. I've said this before. The huddles came about because I didn't want to do one-on-ones, but everybody wanted to. So I was like, well, instead of let's get together one-on-one, why don't you invite somebody? I'll invite somebody. I'll invite this other person, and there'll be like 5 or 6 of us that can get together to chat. And that's more valuable for all of us and all of our time.
Absolutely, and I love the way the huddles are set up because get 5 minutes, and if we talk about an issue or like a business obstacle that we need to talk about, and then you've got 5, 10 different opinions because
Mhm.
everybody's had different experience. So it's really valuable input rather than just sitting one on one. And usually, me being the relationship person, we're talking about family and kids and not so much about business, and it just becomes a social event rather than sort of a networking, learning and growing
Yeah.
opportunity.
And also, that goes back to what you said at the beginning of the call, which your advice was to build a community around you, to have people that can support you. And so now it's kind of killing two birds with one stone, right? You're getting to know them, they're getting to know you, but they're also supporting you. You get to support them, and then referrals and that will follow, obviously. So, all right, one more here. Let's do this one. This one will be fun. What do you think is one of the most common mistakes that people make when they're actually at a networking event? So not that they don't follow up, because we all know that's the biggest mistake people make, but at the actual event, what do you think is a common mistake that happens?
Thinking you're going to make a sale.
Prospecting instead.
Prospecting, yeah, instead of networking. And here's my card, here's my card, here's my card, here's my card. And then the first email that you follow up with is like, well, here's what I can provide you. And it's really easy to do. Again, you want to cut to the chase, but yeah, so you really don't want to be like handing out your cards like candy at a networking event and not trying to talk to everybody. Again, it's quality. It has to be quality.
Quality. So with that quality thing in mind, how many actual groups do you feel is enough or too much to spread yourself too thin and actually build more quality relationships with? How many groups are you involved in?
Right now, three groups.
Okay.
4 groups. And I think it's really based on an individual, and because I can get overwhelmed if I have too much on my calendar.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm considering dropping out of one of these groups and then really paying attention to, 2 or 3 groups.
Going deeper inside 2 or 3.
Even I think that, for me, probably even 3 to be, really connected with all 3 would be a lot. So I think it's really based on the individual. I think, you're amazing at networking and following up and all that. So you could probably have a gazillion groups, whereas, me, I can only have.
I don't. I do 3.
Yeah.
I do 3, and I try to go deep rather than wide. So I spend, if I have time to go to an event, it's going to be one of those 3 groups, because that's where I want to invest my time, into the people that are in those groups. And the groups that 2 of them have a lot of crossover. So I see some of the same people at both groups, which is wonderful. Some people would say that's bad. I say it's wonderful because
building credibility.
Yes, yeah. And it's much faster to build a relationship when you see them twice as often. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, okay. Well, I said that was going to be the last question, but I have one more for you. Okay. Just, stress you out here. All right. What is one really simple self-care technique that the majority of the world could get benefit from if they would just do it?
My latest favorite is called the physiological sigh. Mm-hmm. And it is a big breath in, followed by another breath in, and then an exhale.
Okay. Yeah.
And then do it again. And so I taught that to children at a summer's camp this July, and we ended up calling it a double, because you take 2 breaths and then 2 breaths, because physiological sigh is a pretty big word for 8 to 12-year-olds to remember, or most adults, right? So I call it a double. So you big breath in, another breath in, and then all the way out. And then
do it twice.
And you do that twice. And I timed it. It's about 30 seconds. And scientific research has shown it just takes 30 seconds for you to start calming your brain down and getting your stress level down.
That is wonderful. And thank you so much for sharing that. And thank you so much for being here today and sharing all of your wisdom. I know you're a successful entrepreneur, speaker, author, workshop facilitator. And I'm telling you, I don't have a lot of stress in my life, but when I met you, I realized actually maybe I do have a little bit more stress than I expected, than I thought, because I didn't realize some of the signs and symptoms that I actually probably was experiencing. So thank you so much for your friendship and for your time.
Thank you, Melissa.
Thanks for tuning into this episode of the Network Build Grow podcast. If you enjoyed today's conversation, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with a fellow entrepreneur or professional. And of course, if you're not yet part of our community, visit networkbuildgrow.com to connect with us. Until next time, keep building and keep growing.